Hello, I'm Ingrid Reed, an AARP New Jersey volunteer and a policy analyst with a strong interest in voter participation. So I'm glad to be back to speak with you about voting from home. For some of you, it's a time to do it again, as you had done it in the primary. For others, it's your first time. AARP New Jersey is working hard to ensure that voters 50 plus, like all of us, can vote safely from home or in person, and your voice is heard on issues that matter. This year, if you are an active registered voter in New Jersey, you should have received a mail-in ballot in an envelope that looked like this, very similar to this, but like this. And inside it came with a self-addressed return envelope so that you could get your ballot into the general election on November 3rd that's coming up. I think of this process as needing a little packet like this because there are several pieces that we need in order to vote by mail. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Open it up, take this envelope, and inside are three pieces that we will need. Two of them are envelopes, but the most important part, and we can get started to look at the ballot. Make sure that you are supplying the pen, black or blue ink, that you will need to mark the ballot. So let's unfold the ballot, straighten it out. Make sure that you look on both sides, because in this particular election, there are a lot of offices to be voted for, as well as the ballot questions. So if you are ready, take a look, decide what candidate you would like to select, and then color in the dot. I think you're going to see that on the screen. And stay within the lines. Don't make an X. Don't make a check mark. It needs to be a nice, clean, colored in mark. So once you have done that, we can fold it up again, and it's time to use the second of the smaller envelope that came in the package. And it looks like this, and it has a flap. This flap is used for you to sign it, signifying that you are the voter. And you will see the red X right here. That's where you sign it, much the way you would have if you had been at the polling place and were signing in at the book. And so once you have that all done, this is an important part, you take your ballot and you put it in this envelope. You will seal it without taking off the flap. There's a gummed part like this. And that will have basically your ballot that no one else can see that will go to the county. So now's the time to take the third piece, the envelope that has the postage pay. You can see that blue strip down the side, so that if you put the envelope with the flap and your ballot all signed in this envelope, you will be ready to send your ballot off to be counted at the county. Now, you can do this by putting it in the mail and the postage being paid, but you also have an opportunity to put it in a safe drop box that are supplied at all the counties, and you can see that up on the screen, what they look like. Before we end looking at the envelope, there's a box here that I'd like to call your attention to, that if someone has helped you and is taking this for you to be mailed or dropped, you would have to have that person sign and say that he or she is doing it. That person is known as the bearer. But if you're doing it yourself, you don't need to worry. You are ready to go. You have voted, and I'm really delighted to be able to thank you for being a voter. And make sure that this gets into the mail or the drop box or at the polling place on November 3rd, where you can also drop it off and leave it with a poll worker. You have a lot of options, but try and do it as early as you can and be ready to take this envelope where you decide you want it to go. So for now, let's say you voted, and I should give you a sticker that says I voted. But I can't actually give it to you, but think of it as that you deserve it. AARP New Jersey wants to help you cast your vote safely and make sure you know all of the voting options, whether it's by mail or in person. So it might be knowing where the secure drop box is, where you go to vote in person. You can get all that information from AARP at their website, which is aarp.org/NJVotes2020. And I can say thank you for voting and participating in our democracy.